Hey Dave.
Hey, Nate.
Hey, now let me you remember in episode 26, which we recorded a few days ago,
hmm
uh, I was explaining about the wheel interaction. So I'm gonna show it to you right now how it's done. You can ask me questions, and we're gonna build it right here. You're watching my screen, and I'll be clicking and doing my stuff. So let's try to explain how this wheel was done.
All right, sir.
Uh, I have glasses here, which I found through the icons in the library. I have another object here which we will use later, and I have prepared this image. It's just like a wheel with colors.
hmm
So what we want to do is
A color wheel.
make this. Yes, that's correct. Make this rotate, and we're gonna change like it's like the colors are the lenses. I picked really basic colors, so don't judge me on this, because it's more about the triggers. So first, let's align these two objects, and for starters, it's easier to start if our wheel is over the glasses here. So I'll just keep expanding this until it goes a bit over the edge of the glasses. Because even positioning these colors it's quite difficult because it has to be almost pixel perfect, and the distance has to be it has to be perfect, and it's really difficult to do that. I mean, like in Photoshop, it's already a challenge to do that.
hmm
So I was also tweaking it a bit when I was preparing for this recording. But my advice is just whatever object you would have here, make the border wide, so you can like hide all your
Got a
mistakes about alignment.
yeah. You got a little bit of play
Yeah,
on the pixel there.
yeah. So I'll just put. I think this is fine. We'll check. So I'll just put glasses on top.
hmm
Here we have our colors. So maybe just align everything more to the middle. Yeah, like this. Now let's convert this to a dial. So dial, convert to dial. Boom. And we have some basic settings here. Now I want this to be, somewhat smooth, but I don't want it to complicate. I don't want to complicate my life too much. So, because this should be full rotation, let's start with 360 degrees. So 360, and I want 8 steps between each circle. So we have basically, because we have 7 colors, 8 steps, which means 56 steps. So start value we will keep at 0. Initial value is also 0, and end value is 56. Now at this point I'm not sure why Storyline does what it does, because it rotated my image. So the best thing to do is
Right.
just move it back to the basic position, and it won't change the variables. It all stays the same. So let's just check. Let's just check what's happening now. Any questions, Mr. Dave?
No questions at this time.
At this point.
At this point.
Okay. So you see, it's like this is 8 moves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we have the next one, and then let's just see if the position matches. Okay. See, so maybe I'll just move the
Bump it
glasses
up
a bit to
or
the
bump it
right.
over a little bit. hmm
Yeah, yeah. Also, I noticed sometimes the position, maybe because this dial is more like advanced interaction. I noticed that sometimes the view here might be a bit off by a few pixels than the preview. So let's just go 2 pixels to the right. Or should be to the left. I'm not sure. This is fine. This is fine. Yeah, this looks great.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have our basic movement, right?
hmm
But the next step is we want this to be like the user we want the user to be able to rotate this in any directions, like almost unlimited times. Almost. We say almost, because user will never know, but we will know.
Right, because
what we
storyline, typically people might go to 360 and you can only rotate it one revolution, right?
Exactly.
And you want them to feel like they can just keep kind of rotating either direction again and again, right?
Yes. So any direction many times. So I'll just expand my settings here. So we wanted like 10 times what we have. So rotation we'll put to 300, rotation 3600. So, and we also want to 10 times the end value, which is now 56. Okay. And okay, maybe let's just preview to see what. Let's just preview. So I have the same start. I cannot go in this direction. I can only go forward. So 1 rotation, 2, 3, 4, and many. So it's 10 times basically, which is enough for. It's just enough because usually no one will just keep rotating like crazy. They will just stop before they come to the end. So because we want them also to be moving in the other direction, we set the initial value to half of this. So we start somewhere in the middle. Not somewhere, but exactly in the middle. So it should be 280. As you can see, nothing changed because it's still the same position. So let me grab the green one now. I can go in this direction. I can go in this direction. So fantastic. We have the basics are down. Any questions?
Nope, that makes sense. Yep, I know that, you're basically centering it in the steps because so people can not rotate in just one direction, but now you've given them a lot of space to go back and forth. So that makes sense to me.
Okay. Now, let's complicate things.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Now, what we want to do here, I have a text box which I have prepared beforehand, and this text box has states. It has green, blue, brown, pink, orange, purple, red, and normal doesn't have any text inside. I'm not sure why it's in the back. That's why it's gray. Yes. Now, what the biggest challenge here was, which I was also explaining in the episode 26, is when should I display the color if the color is selected,
Right.
Because if I do it the lazy way, I would have to set 10 triggers, or at least one trigger with 10 conditions, So when green, if I want the green one, the dial should move. The dial should be at 0, and then at 56, and then at 132, and so on and so on and so on.
Right, multiplied by as many times as there are circles, and suddenly you've got 1,000 million, 100 billion triggers.
Yeah, yes, which I don't like. That's not how I roll. So let's do this the smarter way, which also I saw that it's actually helps also with some other things. So let's just display the variables first. Actually, let's name the variables. So the wheel here, it's called variable picture one. That's no good. So let's call it colors. And let's create another variable, which I already have, which is called calculate. So let's display these two variables so we'll see what's going on. So colors.
You're one of those that types in the variable.
Yes, I'm too lazy to. No, it feels like this is faster.
I wish you could just you don't have to go back to insert.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just, and usually I have millions of variables, so it's just easier to write than to search for it. Something like that.
Millions of variables.
Yeah, well, 900,000. Okay. Let me check my notes here. We have this here, we have this here. We sure show them on screen. Now, like we said, we want to find a smart way to know when we should display the color name. So what every color here has in common, or at least the color variable has, is it's every 56 rotations, you know. So green starts at 0, and then it's at and then it's plus 56, and then again at plus 56, and so on and so on. So, and the same was with the blue, but you don't start at 0, you start at 8. So we want to find like a common denominator for that. So my solution was, if I keep subtracting 56 to whatever the variable is, at one point I will get to the lower numbers, you know, from the numbers from 0 to 56, and if any of those numbers is the number that I want, I can display the color. You know? So let's create this calculation. So we have, so this would be all off screen, but it's going to be here for our demonstration. We have this. We want an animation, looping animation. Just doesn't matter what kind of animation, and it should be the shortest as it's possible, which is 0.1 second.
And I'll throw in too, because we've talked about this on the podcast. If you try to do this, set a timer in the layer, it's not as accurate as it is doing it this way.
Oh yeah, so your approach would be to show a layer, hide a layer, show a layer, hide a layer, right?
Right, and set that layer for a certain amount of time. This is, we've seen, much more accurate to time a motion path, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this is my go-to to every like looping or like how
mine too. Yep.
Yeah, any looping, but not just animation, but like a process or like some sort of calculation. So we're gonna move this, but not just once. We want this object to keep like looping. So move when animation completes oval 1, line motion path 1, or maybe we call it loop, so it's all nice.
Nice.
So let's just preview. This one is gonna be animating like crazy. Oh yeah, that's fast. And here we can see our variable color. If I move it, you can see how it changes. And calculate it is at 0 because we're not doing anything yet with it. So let's do the calculations. So first I want to adjust variable, calculate to be equal to the variable colors. When variable changes, colors, right? So we can preview, that would be best. Whenever I move our basic dial, the variable of the dial like will be assimilated to the calculate variable. Yeah, that's fantastic. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to subtract 56 from the calculate when animation completes. So we have another trigger, adjust variable, calculate, subtract value 56 when animation completes oval 1 loop. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you see it keeps subtracting, but when I move, you know, it keeps
adjusting the value to
adjust
match, and then keeps subtracting.
Yes, exactly, and then it just keeps going on. Right. So now it would be great now, because now we have the calculate, and sort of we have this common denominator, which are the values from 0 to 56. And now we can say change state of, this is what, rectangle 1, to green when variable changes. I use this so much, but I always keep searching for it. Variable changes calculate, not color, calculate. And calculate should be equal to value 0. Let's see. And it won't work at the start because I have to move it first. I mean, it could if I set the calculate to 280. Yeah, we can do that. But I'll just move it a bit and move again. And so no. And now, green. So it takes up to a second. I say up to a second because it all depends on what your starting point is. You know, if you're at the lower numbers, you know, it will be faster because it has less to subtract. Oh, no, it's shown all the time. We're going to also address that. But if it's faster, it might be up to 1 second, you know, because we have 56 times 10 is 560, and it's moving at 0.1 of the speed of this animation is 0.1 at second. My tongue is lost somewhere.
Tenth of a, yep.
Yeah. Anyway, it all adds up to 1 second. But it's fast enough to not be slow. Okay, let's do that now for...
I like that. It's fast enough to not be slow.
You can quote me on that.
I did.
So we have 8. And we have 16. And then what? 30? No. 24, right? Okay, so green, blue. So this is the boring part. Brown.
It's
green.
every eight steps, right, to be a new color?
Yes. So purple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, so this is more. This is 40, and now the last one, red, is 48. Because the next one is again 56, and that's green. But we have green at 0. It could be 56, but why?
But now you don't have to make a trigger that duplicates all those times, basically.
Yeah, it's just one time. Yep. And what's really nice now is, because I think if we would have done it the other way, so if I had the if, I wouldn't be able to do this easily. The next thing I want to do, which is just let's preview first to see what's happening. So blue, brown, but notice when I move it, it still says brown.
Right.
So pink. Let's check colors: orange, purple, red, and again green. Fantastic.
Very nice.
We don't want to show the name if the color is not selected. So here's a great extra trigger that we can use. Change state of our rectangle 1 to normal, because it doesn't have any text. When variable changes, but which one? Colors. This one, it can be there. I think the order doesn't really matter. Because colors is changing all the time when I'm moving it, but when I stop...
Oh, so you're always resetting. I see.
Always, So it doesn't, even if you're fast enough, it doesn't show. But when you stop, the subtraction happens. Boom, you get green.
Right.
You keep moving, it disappears. Blue.
Yep,
Brown.
No, that makes sense. It'll always find the color after the kind of reset. So
exactly,
that works very well.
Yeah. No, I was really happy when I discovered that I can easily reset the color name Yeah. So that's basically it. Now I can just say that my version was a bit more complicated because my object, even here we can show here what there is still a small issue, but that's easily solvable because we have our dial is actually under the glasses.
Under, yeah. I was gonna ask that question.
Yeah,
which I know the answer to that, but
you want to take. Let me just show you. I can grab it here. That's fine. Luckily, because the object is transparent in a way that I can click through it. But even if I go to the edge of the glasses, that's where I have a problem.
Right.
And in my original interaction, this object was even bigger, and I couldn't afford I could not grab at this junction here. So what I did was I had an extra dial which was transparent over this dial, and my second dial basically said to the main colors, just adjust the variable to whatever I have, So I just duplicated sort of. I had another layer of dial over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that worked fine. Yeah, and an extra step I did there also was that if you're one step away, which I could not find a simple solution to that. So I basically had extra trigger if this is, 32, so if you are 31, add +1 and it would move it up automatically, and if you're at 32, subtract 1 and it would move it down again. So I had some sort of magnet effect. So if user dropped it very close, it would just jump in automatically.
Yeah, that's a really nice effect because some people are not as articulate with the mouse and might be one off either way or get close, and now you kind of snap to it. Which it'd be great if there was a kind of a snap feature in it, but that's a nice way to do that.
Yeah.
And then,
so that's also possible. Yeah.
And then is it possible then also to have a condition on the calculation that if it's to not calculate if it's under 56?
Sure, but it doesn't really matter.
You don't see it, but just to clean up it's not necessary, but
I think it
would just
zero.
Stop the.
But we can do that. Where's the subtraction?
I just personally, I try to limit things happening that don't need to happen, and you just constantly be calculating. But I guess it's constantly.
This condition is just for you, Dave.
It's still running the motion path, though, isn't it?
Yeah. That's true.
So it's
well,
still
I could
doing
just stop
that.
the motion path. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, yeah. But subtract when? Oh, no. Greater than or equal to.
Right.
My mistake. I think it will be still looping. That's correct, but it should stop at 0. Oh, it did one more. Oh yeah, because it was greater than or equal to 0. So it did one more. So actually it should be 56, right? Am I right? I don't know. We'll see.
Actually, that wouldn't be right. It'd be greater.
It's correct.
Is that right? What about the last green? The green looped again.
So it's 0. Because
right. No, that works.
One less time at
right.
56.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there could be another way, or just here move. No, I think I would keep the loop. Otherwise, I feel like you would, I don't know, complicate things. Because even this is not necessary. This is all off screen. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I mean,
it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions? Otherwise, I think we're done.
I think no, I think that works great. I think that is a great remedy to having about a billion additional triggers. That is
Yeah.
that's just a really nice way to do that. Um, it'd be now you have it at a tenth of a second. The calculation. I can't remember. Is that can you go 0.01 or it's the
No.
tenth of a second is as far down as you can go on a
Yeah. Yeah.
on
I
a
wish
motion
this
path,
would
right?
be.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but still, that it just takes a brief amount of time to show your results. So I think that works great.
I think so too. And maybe I can just add, you could easily expand. I'm just showing the name here at this point, but you could have a box here to say extra info, and then you show a layer. I don't know, for green. Oh, that's not green. Green. With the simple conditions. So show layer green when user clicks rectangle 2 on condition, and you don't worry about the variables because you know the color from the state when shape rectangle 1 is equal to green, and you have all the names and it looks great. You see here, show green when rectangle is equal to green, so it's easily to check that the trigger is correct. You don't need to worry about the numbers, so this chain of commands is also useful sometimes. So dial works here, then you have the calculation, then you adjust this name, I mean the name of the color, and then you have the extra trigger here with the condition.
Very nice. And then now you told me right before
Yeah.
we taped this, you were also going to show how to do this in Storyline 2. So if you could show us that.
Oh, Dave is having a comedy moment. No, I don't. I will not be the one to tackle this in Storyline 2. I think that would
All
be
right. You'll let me tackle that in the next video.
my pleasure. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, this is it. Dave, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Nice job. Thanks. Bye.